Name's Brian.
Name's Logan, how are you?
Good, and you, good, and you. How's your day so far?
Going well, going well. Can't really complain so far. Just
That's
very,
good.
Very appreciative of this interview I'm able to have.
All right, I got some couple questions for you today.
Sure, I'd be happy to answer them.
All right, what is your full name?
So, full name is Logan Kowalski.
How old are you?
What is it?
How old are you?
Oh, 21, sir.
Are you in college?
Yes, I am inside of my junior year right now studying for finance.
What are you planning to do after school?
I'm planning on taking 2 years off of school after I get my bachelor's degree to focus on working inside of the field to get a better grasp on the information I need and to better put myself out there for more social networking to better improve myself for future companies. And then after I get those 2 years done, I'm hoping to find a company that will help me with paying for my next 2 years of school to get my master's degree.
What can I ask? What are you planning to do after you're finishing with school? After doing those 2 years of taking a break, what is your plan after those 2 years of a break? Once you're back?
So after those 2 years of a break and then I get the master's degree, once I come back and get the master's degree, I'm hoping to continue my work with the company that I had previous experience with before I started the master's program, and I'm hoping to get a higher position and if not, better improve the company with the knowledge that I now have to then shoot us up to the #1 spot. I'm aiming to be a financial advisor for a local company to a mid-sized city that I'm looking for. So if I can find something in that range, that would be amazing.
Can you tell me about your daily routine, how plastic bottles fit into it?
So plastic bottles are actually a huge routine for me because I always have a pack or two inside of my room for whenever I'm studying. From the moment that I wake up, I'm having water inside of my system, so plastic bottles go inside a real big part of my day because when I first wake up, they're part of my pre-workout, they're part of my creatine, they're part of my protein drinks that I have them with lunch, snacks, and dinners. Constantly I have water, so plastic bottles are a huge part of my day.
Since you're interviewing for a plastic company, will you recommend other folks like gyms, sports, work environments to start using more plastic bottles or using their own water bottles?
I'd have to recommend probably using their own water bottles because using plastic water bottles is I won't say a huge waste. If used correctly for recycling purposes, they could be constantly reused and that'd be great for the environment. But you and I both know that more than likely that doesn't happen so often because people leave it on the side of the road, they throw it inside the trash bin, or they just dispose it instead of a way that doesn't help out the environment. Instead, leads to worse problems.
Following that question, how do you currently manage single-use plastic bottles? Do you recycle, do you reuse, or try any alternatives with using water bottles?
So,
plastic bottles.
Going back to what I said about having a water bottle always constant inside my face, I actually have 2 sources of water. I have the packs of waters, like I said, and those ones I do use occasionally. But going back to what you were saying about single-use plastic bottles, I have one bottle that I carry with me constantly that is always being refilled from water stations, and I have a Brita filter that I use so I can help with managing the amount of plastic that I'm putting in the environment. So I combine the two together by having one single-use water bottle, and then if I need to in desperate needs or if I'm traveling, for instance, I'll just take plastic bottles and recycle those on my road.
Following that question, do you concern about plastic waste or pollution against by bottles? Why or why not?
What is the question again?
Do you have concerns about plastic waste or pollution caused by bottles?
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's right up there, and like my top interest in the world is the misuse of recycling and water bottles and stuff here. I mean, if you just look at the news and you look inside of our oceans, trash and how much just terrible stuff is inside of the ocean, I guarantee you that probably top like 50% or more is from plastic waste. So plastic bottles are a huge part of that, and if we don't keep that inside of check, it's going to become a problem that we can't just solve with a simple cleanup crew. So I think it's a huge thing that we got to focus on to try and keep the earth healthy.
What challenges do you face when trying to reduce plastic usage? My fault.
My main problem is actually having to find the recycling bins. More than likely when I'm traveling through cities or towns, or if I'm just walking through campus, we do have recycling bins, but more often than not, I'll just look for the more convenient trash can rather than a recycling bin, so I can get it off my hands quicker and easier when in reality, I should probably wait for the actual recycling bin for that. So that's one problem that I do face with that.
Following that question, are there any frustrations with the current recycling system going on, or any alternatives to plastic bottles?
I don't think so. As far as like problems with using the plastic bottles, we've already been over that, and how like I think people should move more towards having one singular or two singular plastic water bottles they should have for constant reuse. I think the use of Brita filters and other water purification filters and fountains is a huge play in that. So I don't think there's too much of a problem with that, but as far as people using the water bottles, it's quite a different story because many people just don't want to have to take the time to have to fill up those waters, so they just take the easy route, which then leads to them littering on the side of the road.
Okay. If you could solve the problems of plastic waste from bottles, what would the solution look like?
Oh man.
You don't have to answer it, but you can say one thing. What could you do to help the company?
I would probably make the water bottle just a little bit larger, mostly because if it's inside of a person's hand, it requires more inconvenience for them to actually carry it around, which then leads them to have to. I know it's gonna sound kind of bad, but it's gonna make them not want to carry the water, which then means that they would have it's more of an inclination for them to leave the water bottle at home and just keep it there instead of having to run the risk of taking the plastic onto the road.
Can't name other companies, but I can see what you're trying to say. Like working for this company, we trying to figure out different solutions for water bottles waste, even creating new water bottles. I understand people, not gonna name the brands, but big ones, small ones, tiny ones, people still throw away everything, so like that. But I can see what you're saying. How does that challenge affect you day to day life?
The plastic water bottle
Mm-hmm.
doesn't really challenge me too much, as I try and keep a I try and keep an open advantage above the problem. So water bottles I keep constantly filled, and I just try my best not to use the small like if I'm gonna name a brand like a small like Dasani water or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I'll try my best not to use that. Instead, aim for my own personal water bottle that I have and aim to refill that. So it's not too much of a problem for me. More of an inconvenience if I can't find a water fountain to fill it up. So then I have to find Dasani.
Can you describe an ideal alternative to single-use plastic bottles users?
An alternative for the single use?
Yeah, like compared to like why people would rather use a water bottle or a plastic water bottle, because at the end of the day you still use a plastic bottle to fill up your water bottle, or you do a water filter, but you still gotta clean it and be safe around it and stuff like that. What will you use it for the users, for just using plastic bottles all the time?
I honestly couldn't name one. I don't think I could.
What's one good thing about both of them? For the
One-
user, for using plastic bottles, and then the user for their own water bottles.
For the plastic water bottles, I'd say one good thing is definitely convenience. That's probably like gotta be like the number one outstanding feature on that. Is just the convenience you can have. If you go and buy a pack or two from the local stores you have, it's like maybe $3-4 for a pack of 30. And being able to take one of those every single day or half day, just be able to travel with that with not having to worry about anything. You can be walking out the door, grab the lid and walk straight out with that. Convenience is definitely for that. But as far as the single-use water bottles where you just have to keep on refilling it, that's probably the number one factor, is just the ease of use. Being able to constantly refill that one and not having to worry about throwing it away, just constantly carrying it with you.
Well, I do want to thank you for your time to interviewing with us.
Oh,
I
no
do have one or two questions.
Of course.
Of course, thank you. Is there any ideas or any thought of you of creating your own solution for the company? What can you bring? What are your weaknesses? What can you do for the company, for plastic users? Or any idea?
So for the company, I'm not too familiar with the brainstorming operations of how to better improve a product like that. But I am more resourced instead of like the marketing and the social networking with it. So my ability to bring in more companies from outside of what we're used to, or to bring them into our circle that we have, to spread the information of just how dangerous plastic water bottles are and how important it is to keep them inside a check. Working with these companies by bringing them into our circle and expanding our knowledge so it's passed on to people who are unknowledgeable into the subject is one of my key factors. I love talking with people, so being able to spread word and information is one of my probably strengths.
Thank you. Is there any questions, any thoughts, anything you would like to ask?
I am kind of curious, what would you do differently in this day and age to try and improve the water bottle?
When it comes to the company, there can be ups and downs when it comes to plastic users. Me, of course, I still use plastic bottles at the end of the day. But I do understand people don't like to use it. Of course, I still carry my own water bottle.
Right.
Still use my own water bottle, or plastic water bottle, of course.
Mm-hmm.
It's just something. I mean, you see people walking around this whole world using them and stuff like that. But like you said earlier, it'll be more suitable for like people to have their own size water bottles. Not something too big, not something too small, just average.
Mm-hmm.
Or something like can keep someone to just keep it safe. Maybe like recycle it, to get another water bottle, or you get like points or something like that,
Right.
or anything like that. I don't know, something creative. But we'll see in the future, wise. But-
looking forward to it.
I do thank you for your time.
Of course.
Thank you so much, Logan.
Yes. All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
No problem.